The stop response is a vitally important response, and that is obviously because most accidents happen because of the horse's lack of brakes or because of dysfunctions in the rein responses themselves. The stop response can be broken down into subgroups just like the go response in terms of down gait, slower and shorter, but we also can include in terms of down gait the step back, and the step back's a very important response because it's a very good assessment tool. The aids for our stop response in terms of operant stop response are the reins, and so therefore we can use the reins in various ways. We can squeeze the reins for 2 beats for going down a gait and slower, and we can give a brief upward use of the reins for shorter, which corresponds neatly with the way we use the nudge of our legs for going longer. Of all of the assessments you might undertake to assess a horse's stop response, the step back really shines very brightly. It tells you so much. You can see with this mare that her right front leg tends to go back typically bigger than her left, and that's because she's a left front runner, as we saw with the go response. Therefore, we need to focus on trying to achieve deceleration in that left front leg as well as we can. So here we've got the left front leg in front, and we ask you to go back with that one first so we can ask a bigger step length. Our aim in step back is to gradually get the steps big enough, make sure she steps back straight if she doesn't use one rein more than the other during the swing phase of that same side leg, and then also finally achieve step backs at around 50 beats per minute per leg. And of course these things take time, so we've got to decide what we want first. And the first thing we really want is the lightness of the reaction of the horse to the rein aid. We move her on again, and then we ask in a different location. We ask her to stop, and we assess what do we feel she tends to do. She raises her head a little bit in that stop. And if she's very heavy in the stop itself, we can ask her to step back during the very heavy moment. If it's not particularly heavy, we can simply achieve this through downward transitions and through training the step back. As you can see there, her left front leg still takes a shorter step backwards, and that's typical of the left front leg runner. When I say left front leg runner, of course, that's my colloquial way of saying that the left foreleg is not as well under stimulus control as the right fore in deceleration. That's better. And now we're stopping every 6 steps, and of course you'll notice that the last leg to stop is the first leg to go. So this tells us that if we choose either even or odd steps, we can then choose which is the last leg we want to stop within those 5 or 6 so steps. And in her case, we would keep on trying to capture that left foreleg as the last leg to stop. And of course each day we do this, and each day the horse gets better and better and better. It's not a miracle, it's not something that happens straight away, but every time we do these repetitions we begin to see big improvements. Now we ask her to go a little bit quicker so that we can then train the slower button. And that's important. We need to differentiate between tempo and stride length, but of course the two will be intertwined in the early stages because they always are. Whenever horses typically slow, they usually shorten. But that doesn't matter. Over time, the differences in the aid in terms of their associated response becomes clearer and clearer to the horse. These are the things we need to do when the horse is young, because when we badly need the ability to alter the speed of the legs, it's often a little bit too late, because these incorrect or blurred reactions are embedded into the horse's behavior. So training the horse to slow, quicken, lengthen and shorten is really valuable in the early stages of training. And then we also focus on achieving longitudinal flexion from the go button, and then from the longer steps, I should say, and then also asking the horse to shorten the step from the rein aid. And we keep doing this until all of the reactions of the horse are smooth and with no increase in the rein aid, and are therefore converted to light aids, which is the essential part of the operant conditioning of the basics in the young horse. So here we have the little mare doing nice longer strides with some overtrack, so that we're able to shorten her, which is of course the road to collection. If we think about what collection really is in the later stages of her life, it's really all about an alteration of her posture with her pole coming up and then shortening the stride. But in this early stage, we simply want to shorten. So now that we're doing trot, we're looking at the transitions down from the trot to halt. What are they like? We want them to be in 4 beats of the forelegs, but no more. If they're in 3 beats, that's okay. The outcome of this training is that when the horse does do the downward transition, we achieve smoothness. In other words, that's the rhythm, so that when we see the horse do the transition from trot to halt, it's a nice smooth reduction in tempo, a linear reduction in tempo. And the more repetitions we do, the more the horse learns this. And of course sometimes the horse is not smooth, and this can be the fault of just the timing, because when we do this in the trot, the timing is a little bit more difficult than it was in the walk, because the trot tempo is 75 beats per minute for working trot, whereas it's only 55 beats per minute in the walk. That's a good one, except for the hind legs, and that doesn't matter. The second outcome of doing trot halts after smoothness is squareness. And so every now and again we see that the hind legs and the forelegs are nice and square. And that's because when we're trotting, because it's a diagonal movement, whatever the right fore does, the left hind does as well. And so therefore, if the horse trots all the way to halt, therefore the right fore and left hind should be mirror images of each other, as should the left fore and right hind. Very nice. And the final outcome of this, but we won't see this with the young horse, is that the horse becomes more through.